everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm finally starting my Forever Island on Animal Crossing New Horizons. I originally had a separate video series on my channel a very long time ago doing a Let's Play for Animal Crossing, but that got discontinued and I am now reviving it with a Forever Island. In regards to certain details that I want to see on the island, for the airport color, I really wouldn't mind if it was blue, yellow, or green. Those are typically my favorites. I have had several islands with yellow airports and with green airports, so either one of those would be totally fine with me. In regards to the native fruit, I would be okay with cherries or apples or peaches. Honestly, as long as it doesn't end up being pears, I will be content with that. And then for the starter villagers, yes, it'll be annoying, of course, if I don't like them, but I'll go ahead and keep them if they're not really that great, but everything else looks good. And then, of course, I've got to like the map. If you guys would like to see further episodes for this series, definitely go ahead and click the like button. And without further ado, let's get started. The beginning part of the game always just feels so nostalgic to me. There's just something about resetting your island or your town, depending on which Animal Crossing game you're playing. Just something about it that I find so riveting and so exciting, I can't really explain it. And for creating my character, I will just be putting my actual name. I don't know if anybody else ever did this growing up, but whenever I would play Animal Crossing, sometimes I would come up with a pretend character and then make that my name instead of my actual name. For my character design, I believe I'm going to go with the square nose and the little tooth smile. I like the eyes that have the eyelashes on the side, but sometimes I prefer to use the classic ones right over here. I feel like these are always a really nice choice if you don't know what you want to go for, but I do want to go with the ones that have the side eyelashes. For the hairstyle, I usually just choose the one with the front bangs, or I choose the one with the short wavy hair. This one looks like my hair in person, but it's a bit shorter. As for the map, I'm going to go ahead and go with a Northern Hemisphere island. I have tried a Southern Hemisphere island, and both can be really fun, but considering it's my Forever Island, I would prefer to use the Northern Hemisphere maps. And here are the first 4 maps that we can look at and choose from. While I don't want to be annoyingly picky, I do want to make sure that I like the map, of course. This top right one kind of looks like a pelvis to me, so that's immediately off-putting. I like how on this bottom right one, the river is super curvy. I like the natural heart pond that it comes with, although those can be made fairly easily, so it's not a deal breaker if I choose one without like a cute pond or something. I do really like how in this top left one, the airport is relatively aligned with resident services. Given it's not 100% perfect, it is pretty accurate. And then I do like this bottom left one. I like how resident services is in its own little corner surrounded by a bunch of water. I think that's beautiful. But I'm not sure if any of these are really calling to me to be my Forever Island map. I think though that since I like this top left one being so well aligned, I'll just go with that one. And then if we end up seeing that it has the wrong airport color, a fruit that I don't want, or maybe something's wrong with the villagers, then we will of course re-roll to a different set of maps. Let me know in the comments, whenever you guys make a new island, which one of these do you normally say? I just kind of choose a random one because I've just made so many islands at this point that it doesn't seem very relevant. Also, I heard that whenever you select that part, it doesn't really dictate anything for your island. Apparently, it's just like a random fun question, which that's kind of cool. And here's the flyover, and right away, we see that we got pears, which is kind of disappointing, but I'm also not surprised. It usually takes me at least a couple of tries to find a map that I'm going to settle with, though I do want to see who the starters are and what the airport color is. Alright, it looks like had I gone with this island, I would have had a yellow airport with Frobert and with Shari. At least I think that's Shari. Alright, and here is the second set of maps. I feel like this top left one is slightly questionable. Not that it's bad, I just feel like I've never seen that map design, or maybe I haven't, I forgot. And then for this bottom right one, I do think it's really cool how there's an isolated little like island in the middle of the map, which is already an island in itself. I think that's really cool as well. This bottom left one, the resident services is very nicely aligned with the airport. Not perfect, like I can see just barely it's off by like the teensiest little bit. So that's cool that it's aligned, but mildly irritating knowing that it's slightly off. I think it's really cool looking to have this bottom right one that has a little island in the middle. And then this top right one, I'm not very drawn to it. Like, it didn't really catch my eye. This top left one caught my eye just because I think it's slightly questionable. So I'm not really feeling very drawn to any of these. I don't feel like any of these are calling to me to be the map for my Forever Island. But just because this one's kind of questionable, I want to go see what it looks like. Just to see what it has. To see what airport color, villagers, and fruit that it's got. Alright, so this island would have had cherries if I went with it. Cherries are really good. They're one of my favorite fruits on the game. And then let's see what the airport color is and who the villagers are. Okay, so the airport would have been blue and we would have had Rocket. And then I'm not gonna lie, I may or may not have forgotten the other villager's name, but either way, we're not going with this island. Alright, so here is the third set of maps. Immediately whenever I opened these up, the top left one really caught my eye. Again, with the idea of resident services being aligned with the airport is very satisfying, but once again, it's slightly off by like the teensiest little bit. And then this top right one, again, looks like a pelvis, like the other one did earlier. This bottom right one, I didn't even look at it really. Like, it didn't really get my attention. I don't feel like it's destined to be my map. And then this bottom left one, I think the river pattern is cool, but I wouldn't really go with it. I feel like, honestly though, considering how much I like that river pattern, if resident services was better aligned with the airport, I would honestly probably go with that one. So with all of that being said, I'm gonna try out the top left one and then see what the airport, villagers, and fruit are. Absolutely not. Okay, let's break this down here. I love that it has a green airport. That's wonderful. It's one of my favorite airports to have. But Mira being a starter villager is a big no from me. On one hand, I feel like I'm very lenient and very loose about what I'm going to do with the villagers whenever I make a new island, because I know they'll inevitably leave at some point. So if they're being characters that I don't like, I'll just be like, hey, it's whatever. As long as I like everything else, we're good to go. Mira is an exception to that rule, though. I do not like her. Mira and we have beef. We have a bit of a history. On one of my very first islands ever, she would not leave for the longest time. It took forever to kick her out, so I'm definitely gonna re-roll. Okay, so here is the fourth set of maps. Right away, the top left one really just got my attention. Once again, resident services is not fully aligned with the airport, but it's pretty close. It's a little bit more far off than some of the other ones that we saw. This top right one, I do like the star pond or the flower-shaped pond, depending on how you see it. I think that's adorable. This bottom left one, I think is just kind of weird. It's giving, looking like a pelvis like some of the other ones. And then there's that pond on the top right part of it that just, it's shaped like the letter I, and I don't really like it. Bottom right one, I don't really like that one either. It just feels kind of plain, kind of boring. I feel like these top two are the best contenders at the moment. I like how far away resident services is from the airport, because that's another thing. While I do like whenever they're aligned, I also think it's incredibly satisfying whenever they're well distanced and not like super, super close to each other, because that, it gives me the ick. I don't really like it. So it's gonna be between these top two. The top right one, if you look at the cliffs that it has towards the left, there's some water on top of the cliff that trickles down to the base level of the island, and I feel like it's gotta look so beautiful in person. So on one hand, I would love to go and see what that looks like and check out the flower pond, but on the other hand, I just keep going back to look at the top left one over and over and over, like my eyes just keep drifting to it. So I feel like it's a sign that I should take that one, but what if I regret that and I wish I looked at this one? I'm gonna go ahead and just go with my instinct and just choose the top left one. Okay, it's looking good. We have a green airport, and I also saw that we have peaches for this island. It's looking good. I like the airport color. I'm content with the starter villagers until they move out. I like that it has peaches. Maybe we made a good choice. Maybe this one is destined to be my forever island. Let's go explore for a little bit, though, and make sure that I really feel like this one is meant for me. I just have a super good feeling about this island. I don't know what it is about it, but it just feels like it's right for me. I love the peaches. I love the airport color. I'm good with the starter villagers. Maybe this one should be my forever island. Maybe this is the final map. After a bit of thinking, I've decided that this will be my forever island. I really liked the map. I felt very drawn to it from the start whenever it loaded up. I love the native fruit. I'm content with the starter villagers. I like the airport color. Literally, there's nothing to say no to with this island, so I have officially decided that this is my permanent forever island. So now we have to go and get our tent and help out Tom Nook with the beginning actions for the island. I believe it's just the sticks and gathering a bunch of fruit so we can make smoothies. Yes, please give me a map, Tommy. I do not have a map. I can't see anything. Alright, you guys, I can actually explore now. I can walk around. I want to go back here. Wait, look at that. Look at the back. So it looks like tulips are my native flower, which is another good thing about the island. Tulips are one of my top native flowers you can have in Animal Crossing. Whenever I make a new island and I'm looking for somewhere to put my house, it's not uncommon for me to find a little secret beach nearby or a small beach right by the airport. I always like to put my house there so that way it's out of the way whenever I'm potentially terraforming in the nearby future. But I'm thinking of putting it somewhere else this time. Of course, because it's a house, it can be moved eventually if I change my mind and I find a better spot to put it. But let's see, where am I going to put my house? ahead and put it about right here. I like how it's nestled into a little corner and it has some water nearby. And here is the preview for the house. I definitely think this is a good choice, at least for the time being, until the island is built up a bit more and it's been decorated. And now we have to help the builders find their own spots. Hello, Lyman. I'm Lyman. You're Lexi, right? Nice to meet you, Chips. You already set up your tent. I'm still trying to find the perfect spot. I'll be doing some serious cardio, so I've got to have lots of fresh air. I think this spot will do the trick, but I don't know. I'll find you a spot. What? You'll let me find a sweet spot to put this tent? Seriously? Wow, we just met and you're already doing some heavy lifting on our friendship. Whenever I have a new island and I'm finding a place to put the starter villager houses, I tend to put them on the beach along with my house. I put it on the beach that way whenever I do start terraforming, or if I need to do something in particular to help get 5,000 Nook miles, or just decorating or working on my island in general. It seems to be a lot easier in the beginning if I put them on the beach, that way they're nice and out of the way. Alright, now we need to go find Flo and find a spot for her house. Hello, Flo. Wait, I got it. Don't tell me. You're Lexi, right? See, I told you I had it. I'm Flo. I gotta tell you, I'm excited to do this whole island thing. You already found a good spot, huh? I was trying to just feel for the best spot, but I was having trouble because every spot feels like the best one. I couldn't just sit here thinking it over and over forever, so I grabbed a stick and threw it, and here's where it landed. So now this is my spot. Okay, I know there's only so far I could throw the stick, but I'm liking this. I'll find you a spot. Well, for real, you're gonna pick out the perfect spot for me? You do that for someone that you just met, you know. You're all right, Lexi. In that case, here you go. It's your show now. And we will just go ahead and place it right next to Lyman's tent. And now, here's where I give him the sticks and the fruit. I love that he always calls it teamwork, but it's literally just our character gathering whatever it is that he needs or asks for. Like, what do you mean this is a team effort? It's literally just a me effort, you know? Technically for this part, whenever you gather the items for Tom Nook, you're supposed to do the sticks and then get the fruit. But I just tend to get it all at once, so I feel like it's a lot easier and a lot faster. And fun fact, if you do not already know, whenever you shake a tree several times, you can get more than one tree branch to fall from it. You don't have to just get one at a time. You can shake the same tree repeatedly until you get as many as you need. But I will say, you will periodically have to switch around to different sides of the tree when you're shaking it, because otherwise, at some point, it'll stop giving you sticks because there's too many in the same area. Here you go, Tom Nook, and while I was over there, I got the peaches for you. They look like peaches, they smell like peaches, and they even taste like peaches. It's probably because they're peaches. Oh look, what do you know? They're peaches. And here is where we name the island. I am so excited. I hope you guys like the name that I chose. I tried to choose something that I thought was pretty and that I liked, but didn't necessarily feel connected to or stuck to a certain theme. For example, whenever you do a kid core island, or if you're going to do a cottage core island, you've got to choose a name that in some way is connected to that theme, right? I tried to choose one that I liked, that I thought was pretty, that didn't feel stuck to one or two specific themes. And here is the name that I chose. I chose the name Wildwood, spelled with a Y instead of an I, because Wildwood to me sounds like a very standard, kind of neutral name that could go with really any theme that I maybe end up doing in the future for this island. And then I chose to spell it with a Y because I knew somebody that spelled theirs with a Y, and it just feels very nostalgic to me in that time period. This part is so unbelievably funny to me every time. Like, this just never gets old. It doesn't matter how long this game's been out for or what island I'm making. It cracks me up every single time seeing the names that the builders suggest. But let's see what they are this time. So we have Roxalot, Tommytown, Bellevue, and Buffburg. Personally, I think this island name should have been Buffburg. Wow, that's an overwhelmingly positive response. Each and every one of you clapped. I suppose if everyone is in agreement, we could just go with Wildwood. And now my character is officially the resident representative of the island. Let me know in the comments if you're at this point in the video, which of these do you normally say when you make an island? I like to say howdy or a word or two, just because being very literal with that is funny to me. This one little detail though, this has never really made sense to me. So my native fruit for this island is peaches, right? Well, the little drinks that are made from the peaches that I gave to Tom Nook are like this light greenish color. And that just doesn't make any sense to me, because I would think that if I made like a juice or a smoothie out of peaches, they would probably be a much more different color. Like maybe an orangish color or literally a peachish color because it's a peach, or even like a pink one. Like, I don't know, I just don't think it would be green. That doesn't make any logical sense to me, but sure. And now it's just time to save and go to bed, so that way whenever we wake up, Tom Nook can give us our very first Nook phone. Hello, Tom Nook. There you are. I hope you had a pleasant nap. Or, well, I suppose it was a bit more than a nap, wasn't it? It's a brand new day. I slept that long? Yes, it's quite normal to be worn out from such a long trip and a major life event. Speaking of which, I have a few more things that you might find useful as you adjust to life in our little paradise. First, you'll need one of these, yes? This is basically an Animal Crossing iPhone. It's your very own Nook phone. I have these made especially for island residents. I want to make sure it's working right, so could you try turning it on for me? And here is our Nook phone. Alright, so we now have free will in the game to run around and play and do whatever we want. And that is going to be the end of today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Definitely click the like button if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time for another Let's Play. Bye, everyone!